Ladies and gentlemen, oh, I disappeared. I see you back there. I know you're excited for this one. This is a big one. This is number
Yes.
19. This is in the corners, number 19. How are we doing, BCIHL fans and, of course, the Vike fans? We got a lot of I screwed up the words.
A lot of interference going on
A
here.
lot of interference.
A
And you
lot
know
of
what's
forechecking, a lot of high
oh,
sticking, a
it's
lot of
it's a
goals going off the stanchions, like the
it's
Canucks goal there
oh yeah, off the
from way
ref's
back. I
chest.
rewatched that. I rewatched some Canucks this week for my friend's birthday. A little
Oh,
blast from the past. I'm
nice.
ready for In the Corners, Reese.
Oh, I'm ready to. The reason why I'm jumbling on my words here is because we just got so much cool info to
Yes.
bring to you. And obviously, there's just so much excitement about the playoffs coming. There's just so much pent up excitement about the playoffs, BCIHL playoffs. So, Matt, before we get into this, how are you? How was yoga? You were doing yoga.
Yeah, I'm in the zone. I'm getting in touch. I'm getting ready. Just, this is a crunch time, like you're saying,
Crunch
Reese.
time.
I got some bumps and bruises along the way. I got punched in the face. I got my helmet ripped off,
Yeah.
and I'm just giving it my all for the season. That's
Sounds like
all
the
we can
place.
ask for here.
Yeah.
And but we're at that. What do they call it? Nicks and bruises, bumps and bruises.
Yep.
We all got them at this point,
Oh yeah.
and we're ready for the test here, the grind.
Oh yeah. We've been weathered. We've been put through it. Especially
Excited for the show.
Oh yeah, especially these Vikes who are 11-7-0-1. So we
Yeah.
had a nice Vikes matchup, a great opportunity for them to kind of give a little bit of a I guess statement, another opportunity to make a statement against the SFU Red Leafs, but hey, that's a strong Red Leafs team. And unfortunately, it was a 3-2 victory for the Red Leafs. So we got a little bit of period by period breakdown. We're not going to go goal by goal. We're just going to kind of give you a little overview of what went down. And then, yeah, we got lots of other stuff to talk about. So, Matt, what happened in that first period?
Well, this game is the Monday game, February 20th. The Vikes had three games this weekend. They played the Lakers on Saturday, the Logan Lake dudes, they're the green guys on Sunday, and then the
That's right.
Red Leafs on the Monday. We're keying on these games because the Vikes are going to play the Red Leafs in their final game of the regular season coming up. And of course, everyone's gunning for the Red Leafs, right? So how do they
Absolutely.
stack up against them? In this game, something that's going on for the Vikes right now is their goaltending. They have signed as a free agent Caleb McEachran. And I was texting with Coach Alec today.
Oh,
Who is
yeah.
Caleb McEachran?
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping I'm saying his name reasonably
It's like
right.
McEachern. I've heard McEachern.
McEachran.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't
I
know.
beg your pardon.
We'll learn. I'm sure.
Definitely.
Coming with these coming weeks. Yeah, because I mean, he made a little bit of a name for himself in that game.
Yeah, this is what we know about him. He's 6'5". He played Okanagan Hockey Academy. He went to play with the Melville Millionaires. That's in the Saskatchewan Junior League. Watch out
Wow.
for that.
Oh yeah.
And then he was the backup goalie for the Penticton V's. They won it all last year.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
he's kind of coming out of nowhere to us,
Oh
but
yeah.
he's got this history of being on really good teams, right? So
Good
boom, he
resume.
was a net for
Yeah.
the Vikes.
Great hockey resume there. So yeah, I guess before we get into that SFU game, let's go. Let's start from the top. They
Okay.
faced off against the Lakers first. That was a Friday game or Saturday game?
That was on Saturday.
It was a
It
Saturday
was
game.
the Lakers that it was their weekend. They lost. They got the Mariners beat them on Friday, and then the Vikes went down and beat them 7-3 on February 18th. That was in the Lakers land there.
That's a great result. That's a great
Yeah,
result.
this game the Vikes go 3 for 3 on the power play. Jacob Drapeau was in net. Daniel Paul played in net for the Lakers. The Lakers 1 for 9 on the power play. It seemed like they might be running out of gas. The Mariners, they couldn't get over the hump against the Mariners, and then the Vikes went in there and they kind of stormed the castle there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
14 points by the big three. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spears, Nolan, and Braun. 14 points in this game.
I
Okay,
mean,
so this is their dominating game of the season for these guys. That was Saturday night, 7-3 victory.
Wow. Just wow. Honestly, especially with that introduction of that new goalie McEachern, just an interesting 3-game stint for this Vikes team. They
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, like you said, they take that win 7-3 against the Lakers, which is huge. I mean, you got to take those W's, and that's a pretty good goal margin too. And that Lakers team, they came to, I think it was before the showcase tournament, but they've came to the Vikes barn and put a real show on, like, and really,
Oh yeah.
outplayed them, right? So it's good to do that, to head to their barn and just kind of get themselves a pretty decisive victory, right? So, yeah. Then after that, it was against the Lakers, right? Logan Lake, yeah, it was just a 5-1 win. Look at the points on that guy.
Braun, Voss, Nolan, Braun
Ali.
again, and Hermary. So
Can I just add our fantasy teams, which I'll throw a picture of it in edit, but my fantasy team is killing it.
yeah,
My fantasy team is killing it. All the picks that I made. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, Braun. I knew that was a good pick. I knew he was going to come flying. But at that point, when we chose our fantasy team, it was like beginning to middle of the season, right? Like we didn't see a whole lot of great Vikes play. Clearly, I made the right decision with Spears and Braun. I mean, again, it's a little bit of an obvious one, but I that has just been, if there's money on it, I'd be raking it in right now.
You think so, hey? Well, I'm going to make my case in that segment when it comes up, maybe in the next week or two, when we get into it on debating our fantasy teams
for the playoffs, getting ready for the playoffs. Who are going to be the big names? And I think, hey, just going based off of what I see, I think my fantasy teams.
You like your chances?
Oh yeah, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel it for the Lakers right now. Like you said, they kicked the Vikes' butt before Christmas. They went to the showcase. They didn't have a good showing there. Then their strength, their goaltending, I've been talking about it all year. That kind of has actually become their Achilles heel. They had a hard time keeping the pucks out of the net this weekend. They let in 13 in 2 games. They don't have any answers for the Mariners or the Vikes right now. The Vikes have won the last 3. Remember, because the Lakers won the first 2 against the Vikes this season.
And those now the Vikes victories too.
Yeah, the Vikes got their mojo going. They're having no problems with the Lakers. So the Lakers will have to go against SFU in the playoffs. So that's how the cookie crumbles for them. But they got a nice thing going there. They've had their moments this season.
Yep.
And when you think about their arch, in the future of this league, watch out for those guys over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not to mention in the playoff, they have had close games with SFU, which the Vikes kind of haven't. In my opinion.
Yeah, which takes us right into that Monday game, which I kind of started off with. Little scrambled agenda here, and I'll take accountability for that. That's me. Matt has done a great job of throwing together great agendas for each show here. So, shout out to Matt for that. But the reason why I wanted to kind of put a little emphasis on that SFU game is because I thought it was a huge opportunity for the Vikes to kind of make a statement. I think the result was a statement, but Matt, as you could tell, because you watched in depth, you had your analysis cap on and you were looking in depth period by period. And you said you weren't a fan of the Vikes performance.
Well, you can't argue with a close game like that. It's 3-2 win. If you can't, the Vikes hung in there. I just think that, what is it? The goal differential this season, it's still minus 16 or something. And they're 0 for 4 against SFU.
Right.
Let's stop complaining about it, though, and look at the game.
Right.
The game against the Lakers, the big 3, here's 1 point. The big 3, 14 points. The game against the Miners on Sunday, 9 points. Against SFU, just 2. Okay, that's a chance for the big guys, the scorers on the team, to take the leadership offensively against SFU. That would help a lot. They go 1 for 4 on the power play. They opened the scoring. Connor Nolan, he's 4th in league scoring now. They had the lead early in the game. SFU replied with their own power play goal. It was 2-1 after the first, 3-1 at one point, and then Bentham made it 3-2 right at the end of the game. Now the shots were 46-16 in the game for SFU.
Wow.
And this is the McEachern kind of coming out game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Bentham scored right near the end of the game, and they had a power play with it for about 3 minutes left. And the Vikes were trying, they couldn't quite get that power play to even the game, and they couldn't quite get the game plan with the pulling the goalie because it was just a bit too long of a time left remaining
Yeah.
to go 6-on-4.
Right.
They didn't risk it. It didn't end up working out. They take a 3-2 loss in regulation, and they're 0-4 against SFU. There's not much you can say about that right now, and they have another chance March 3rd to break the goose egg against those guys.
Yeah, that's I guess is that their last chance or is that their next chance?
That's the last game of the regular season.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, again, you want to if you're the Vikes, you know you're in a playoff spot. We know they're confirmed. They're slotted in at that third place spot in the BCIHL. They're going to match up against VIU in the first round. So if you do get past VIU, you know who you're meeting up with, and knowing that, you got to find a way to kind of expose some weakness. Now, we have seen VIU and the Lakers expose some of that weakness in the SFU game. Now, not to a degree where they were able to kind of completely expose them, but in a way where they can have a lot more closer games and some better results, right? So the Vikes kind of maybe should watch some Lakers film, what the Lakers are doing to kind of break down some of SFU's efforts.
I think I might be being a little too serious about this. The SFU they're a great team, right?
They are.
But you know what? The Vikes, they seem to, they got their goalie going one night, but they can't, the power play can't break through. They get a few goals in, but then SFU is on fire offensively. It's just about lining all the elements up against them. Easier said than done, though, Reese.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Especially with this SFU team. I mean, I'm sure SFU maybe they wouldn't admit this, but I'm sure compared to last year, they would say there's a lot more competition within the league, undoubtedly. But I mean, man, they still are taking that just charge of that first place spot and not letting anybody even get a glance at it the whole season. So, yeah, I think it would be fair to predict that they're going to get through the Lakers, but hey, you never know, right? Lakers have had a decent this season. They've had a decent track record against SFU for what it is. I mean, to be fair, they're beating everybody, right? So for what it is, they're doing pretty good. So maybe a big BCIHL upset. When was the last time that's happened, right?
That they have just as good of a chance as anyone, I'd say.
Yep.
So,
and then an SFU or a Lakers Vikes final for the BCIHL. I mean, come on. I'm gonna have a couple sody pops for that one. That'll be a crazy.
It's kind of cool. I watched a bit of the VIU game in the Lakers, and they play in that Prospera place. That's where the Rockets play, I think.
Really?
So they play, the camera's down. It's from the, what do you call that? The not the Segway, box? The pressway, the press box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're up there in the press box looking down. Okay. That's a nice place there.
Yeah, nice. Good setup. Yeah, compared to our setup. I mean, no disrespect to the E&H Sewer Complex. That's our our church. That's our barn. That's our place of solitude. But let's be honest, if we had a nice little financial takeover from maybe our good friends in Saudi Arabia or something like that, we could get a nice little improvement, kind of like those teams in England. You know what I mean? A lot of those teams, they just wait for that oil money to come in and boom. So hopefully some, oil moguls can, for some reason, get some interest in some BCIHL hockey in Victoria and throw some cash our way.
I always feel bad for the Vikes player who's in the press box, the healthy scratch, working the camera. Yeah. It just falls over.
It becomes Steven Spielberg, the one game that they're not starting, right? So they're all like,
it's definitely a handheld director's cut.
Absolutely. So yeah, what's next on the agenda here? What should we talk about this week's games, which is pretty interesting stuff for this week?
Yeah, BCIHL, we're going to have some time. We're going to get into the SFU game. We're going to get for the Vikes. We're going to get into our fantasy. I think we should have in the corners kind of awards show.
Ooh.
But before we do all of that, we should talk about the Ducks because this weekend it's the exhibition games against the Oregon Ducks. What do you think about that?
Wow. I mean, they went over to Oregon a couple months ago and had some pretty good results. And just I kind of went on about this the last time they met up with the Ducks, but it's just a great opportunity to meet up with such a famous school. That is a legendary school. A lot of people know them obviously for their football program and basketball as well. And it's just cool that their hockey program's building its building blocks to become a bigger presence at that school. And yeah, hopefully we can be a part of it. We're gonna do I guess this will be a little bit more of our preview for that, but once we cover, next week's episode when we're covering all the stuff that went down against this Ducks team, I think it'll be really interesting. Love their logo, by the way. Those colors, it just looks clean.
Yeah,
looks nice. I like it. I like how it looks.
You're a fan of the Mighty Ducks?
Oh, it's cool. Well, they don't look very mighty.
Okay.
I'll tell you that duck logo for the Oregon, it looks like a very friendly duck.
It's just an orange beak, right? That really stands out.
Yeah, I think it should just be that. Oh, that classic. Right. Oh, give them like an all black jersey, white around it, green with the white border. Oh, it'd just be great. But super exciting times. What do you think about it?
This is an exhibition game. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, I think the Vikes players and the BCIHL players are just as good as these guys. This is American Collegiate Hockey Association, 1989. The Ducks, they racked up some championships in Division II.
Yep.
Pac-8. That was their division they were in.
Okay.
Back-to-back 2008, 2009. And then they won two more, 2019, 2020. So they got bumped up, right, to Division I.
Right.
So
70 teams.
Hard to compare. Like, how do the Vikes compare against them? They lost a close one down there in November or October.
Yeah.
And then they beat them the second game. Like, I think it was 5-3.
Yeah.
Milan got the victory down there. And the first game, they got stoned by the goalie Madge.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're going to play two more here.
Yep. Finally get to meet up with them, and they're coming here. They're coming to our house, right? So
yeah, they're going to bring their surfboards up here.
Oh yeah.
Just hit the Mayfair Mall.
Oh yeah.
Just crank some tunes, maybe go out to Souk, just do whatever they want.
Go there, get a nice little tzatziki wrap from Jimmy the Greek, and then go over to Champs, buy themselves a nice pair of 97s. But yeah, no.
Are those shoes, cool. Or is that like earbuds?
Yeah. Air Max 97s. I mean, I could even show you. I got them right over here. You know what I mean? Like, nice. Very nice. Very, 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 very nice. So that'll be exciting to have these guys, come check out our land. And honestly, hopefully they don't have too much judgment against again, our cathedral of hockey, which is the Indian, because I'm sure they got some great facilities at that school. I mean, there's no doubt that is a heavily funded school. I don't know about their hockey team. They might be a little bit different in terms of how
I think they're on an indie. They're on an indie rock label, those guys.
Yeah, that's right. I think they're
not a major label.
Right, not a major.
There's 70 teams in this ACHA. They're ranked 58 from what I could tell. They're ranked 58. Minot State, which is that's near where yours truly grew up.
Oh, really?
28-2. That's pretty good, eh? 28-2. Wow. So these guys, the Ducks, they play Arizona State, Colorado, Minot State, University, UNLV. Is that Las Vegas?
I think so.
San Diego.
So many Americans are shaking their heads right now.
Boise State. That's Idaho, right? Yep. Boise. And then Illinois State. So they're playing these famous American places. Yeah.
Well, Arizona State, I don't know if Arizona State still plays in the Mullet Arena because Phoenix plays there, right? Yeah, Phoenix is playing there as their arena gets built. So, yeah, does Arizona State still play there?
They must. These Ducks probably went to the Mullet Arena.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You get to, in a weird way, experience the NHL experience. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
a little different, but yeah.
We're going to experience the BCIHL experience.
Exactly. They're going to experience it. They're going to be like, oh, there's a lot less money in facilities, but the passion and the pace of play is something they've never dealt with in their
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. The Vikes should have confidence playing against them. The Ducks
Absolutely.
got a few players here I noted, Reese. Thomas Monroe, number 9, is their leading scorer, and he's a defenseman.
Nice. Yeah.
Now, who is there any other teams like that you can think of? Which teams are led
Uh,
offensively by their defensemen?
well, not a very good team, but the San Jose Sharks with Erik Karlsson playing out of his marbles right now. That's definitely helping. I think. No, I don't think Buffalo. Buffalo very close. Rasmus Dahlin, their captain, he's very close in that top. I think he's like 2, 3 something. So just behind Tage Thompson, but yeah, no, it's not unheard of. Usually your even in the PK Subban days, in Montreal, he was typically their highest point guy just because they get so many assists, right? And then that just kind of builds its way up. But yeah,
I'd be excited to see him.
to see. Yeah, no, it's tough to do that, right? To be having all that responsibility in the back, and that's why that's why I love Dan Gatney. That's why I love DeGo, these guys, because they have a lot of responsibility just being a defenseman, and when you're able to provide some offense, I mean, it's just a Swiss Army knife type of guy, right? And you just do a little bit of everything if your defensive game is strong, of course.
Yeah. DeGo's about to pop off and get a few goals down the stretch here. I think he's got no goals yet in the regular season, but he's got a pile of assists.
Yep.
Let's look here. Number 18 for the Ducks, Dayton Clark, 15 games, 5 points. This is a player from Victoria.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty great. I think you mentioned that the last time we talked about the Ducks, that they had a couple guys from Victoria, which is pretty funny.
Number 7, Barrick Brazlaski.
Wow.
21 games, 11 points.
What a name.
Hey, you ready for that one?
Oh,
the game? Going to be loving that.
Brazlaski. Oh, yeah. I love that. That rings off the top. That's going to be great. Hopefully, hopefully he's got a little highlights, not to hope anything bad for the Vikes, but I mean, it'd be cool to yell that name a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Goalies Matthew Serve, Austin Madge, and then the PIMS leaders. Just as for reference, I think this is a fan favorite here. You got to always look for that on the hockey card. David Andes, 44 PIMS, and Ethan Jammernick, 34. Jammernick scored at least a goal or two in the exhibition last time. So there you go. There's a Ducks rundown.
Cool. Those are some names you're definitely going to want to keep an eye out if you're watching on Hockey TV, or maybe the Ducks will come in and they'll have their own streaming service. Hopefully. I mean, we still got to do Hockey TV for ourselves. Again, no disrespect to Hockey TV. It's just a little hard for people to watch, but that'll be very exciting to have. A lot of guys you're going to want to keep an eye out for. See those beautiful green jerseys on the Ian H. Stewart ice. So yeah, let's move on here to a game that you created, like the most of the games you've created, and it's a new one. We've got a lot of new ones on the show, but this one's a pretty good one. It's called Carry It or Clear It. So
that's right, Reese. I'm gonna in this game, I'm gonna throw by kind of like a take to you, something about what's going on here with the Vikes or the league, and you could skate up with it, carry it, or you can fire it off the glass. You can clear it.
Yeah.
So if you're carrying it up, you're interested. You think it's got something to it, but if you're clearing it, you don't want it. You don't agree with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here we go.
Do it.
Carry it or clear it.
All right.
The coaches for the Vikes will use the games against the Ducks to rest their star players and put in some players on the bottom line to tune them up for the playoffs. Carry it up or clear it.
Oh, I'm definitely going to carry that. I think that's an absolute truth bomb. I think you nailed it. I think that's your analysis cap providing good analysis.
Wow.
No, it's just, we're not talking about load management here, but, it is an exhibition. It's not going to have any indication on the BCIHL stats, which is what matters at the end of the day. But they're obviously not going to want to, ice a team that is completely experimental, almost throwing out any sort of game plan that they've could implement beforehand or right before the game, right? So if they're just throwing out a lineup that's a little bit of a mix just to see how things goes, I'd be pretty surprised. I think they're going to try to put a sound lineup. They're going to try to put, I don't think they're going to put out their bet. Yeah, like you said, they're going to rest their start players, but I don't think they're going to, just try out a little bit of random stuff, like put a D-man on the right wing or something, you know what I mean? I don't think they're going to go crazy, but I do think for the first game, they'll definitely do that. And then the second game, I could see them putting on their squad, like the designated lines for the rest of the playoffs, because I think, and the reason why is because, again, since, like I said, it's exhibition, so there's a little bit of room for experimentation, a little bit of room for to try out a couple more things. And I think the biggest thing that you could try out is trying different looks on the power play. So I think we can assume, just based off some of those players, there'll be a couple power plays for the Vikes. So knowing that their power play hasn't been the absolute best, so I don't think it's been the best that it could be. I think that personnel within that power play for the Vikes is very capable of putting up points, putting up crazy, almost being a perfect power play. Maybe what we're seeing right now is we're going through the ebbs and flows of the power play, and then when the playoffs come around, it's just going to be snapping it around, just finding openings. I mean, I'm one of the reasons why I'm extra excited for the playoffs is because I know Vikes, like, this team really, really wanted to do better than last year, and which it wasn't that hard, but they want to do better, and they want to really, really be a player in this.
Well, they have been.
They want to be a bigger player. So yeah, definitely carry it with that one.
Nice. Right on. Okay. Further about the games against the Ducks. The games against the Ducks don't have any meaning to the Vikes, win or lose. It's all about that game against SFU. You going to carry up this take or just clear it?
I'm actually going to clear it. And the reason why is I'm going to go off of something that I can't remember in particular who said it, but it might have been this season or last season. I think it was last season. Honestly, it might have been a guy that I particularly tend to disagree with, and I think his takes suck. And there's a lot of evidence to support that. But Mike Johnson said, in response to the Montreal Canadiens started off their preseason like 0-9. And again, it's preseason, it's exhibition. You're trying out AHL guys. A lot of your best players aren't playing. The lines are experimental, all this stuff. But it only starts to matter when it starts to matter. And that sounds silly, but the point is if you're going to have a bad showing, and whether it be one exhibition game, 5, 10, if you're going to have a really bad showing, you have to make sure it's very conditional, and it's not something that you're putting out your best lineup on the ice and you're still seeing the results of like an experimental lineup. That's where it's matters. That's where it really matters. Now, if they go into these 2 exhibition games and, like I said, they put almost crazy lines. Like they put so a really young freshman on the first line that hasn't played much all season. If they do stuff like that for both games, it shouldn't matter much. But if they, like I said, if they put their real lineup in and then they have a horrible showing, it's going to matter. It's going to matter. The result might not have an impact on the standings or on your playoff hopes, but it gets in the back of your head and it reminds you, and it's hard you got to really have a quick memory when it comes to stuff like that. So in conclusion, definitely want to clear it on the fact, on the take that the games against the Ducks don't have any meaning. Definitely going to clear that one.
Yep, I'm with you. They want to have a good showing. They want the reputation. You know what hockey players do not do? They don't really take it easy. They try every shift. Yeah. So they're not going to be taking any time off. They want to beat the Ducks. I agree. Clear it. Yeah. Okay, just a few more of these. After an impressive start to the season, the Lakers, they were in first place.
That's right.
First month. They are the unluckiest, or you could say the most underachieving team in the league. Carry up the idea or clear it?
Ooh, I actually am going to carry it because I think my standings predictions, actually they're probably out the window now, but I think I had the Lakers at number 2. I thought that the Okanagan were going to be pretty, not close, but in contention with SFU. And we have seen that when they match up, but yeah, I thought they were going to be better. So I guess underachieving is a really good word to use for that, because I like their lineup. Their defense is really good, in my opinion. I like the way that they play, and their goaltending is also good. But yeah, just when you take a look at the standings and you kind of take in the results, you're like, Wow. Surprising. I did not think that that's how the season would go for the Lakers. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna carry that. Carry it.
Okay. Here's kind of a strange one. The Vikes, they've lost their last two against SFU. However, the night before they played the expansion team who are 0-17.
Yeah.
So carry this up or clear it. Playing the Miners the night before SFU is an excuse for not being sharp against the Red Leafs. Carry it up or clear it.
It is an excuse or it is not. Is that the take? That
It is an excuse.
Oh, okay. I would say absolutely not. Not I think in a different season. Honestly, I think in a different season where we are completely blown away and our expectations were completely exceeded with this Vikes team. But I don't think so. I think when you look at the lineup and you look at the breakdown of the history of some of the new personnel that came in, we're talking about that freshman line. Um, you know, the expectation was there, and I think that they've matched it, in my opinion. I think they matched it maybe a little bit under, but the way that they've played against especially the Mariners, to me, the Mariners are very impactful games because there's a little bit of added emotion to it because it is a cross island rivalry. And that they're, tend to be close in the standings, and you obviously don't want them to be dominating you. And based on how they've played against the Mariners, it's been pretty nothing short of expectation, I wouldn't say. So I'd say with this Vikes team, it doesn't really matter who you're playing the night before, whether it be doubleheader, you got to show up for the big games. Even if you take like we did commentary for, right? The Miners game where it was, 2-0 Miners in the third period, right? So
right.
If that's going to happen, but that leads to a good showing against SFU, it's kind of give or take, right? You feel a little bit better than it. So honestly, if you like it says in this take, if you slam one of the worst teams in the league and then you go and play the best team in the league after, and then you say, oh well, we kind of we used all of our gas in the game that we had the blowout for. That's not an excuse. If you're a team that wants to, achieve something big in any league, you're going to have to show up when it matters most, right? So, but like I said, if they were exceeding expectation a lot, then I'd be like, well, yeah, honestly, it is easy to run out of gas because this is a team that's overperforming. But no, they're not. They're fitting expectation, in my opinion.
All right, going back to the Vikes again. The goalie that plays the best this weekend against the Ducks will get the start against the Red Leafs in the season finale. Carry it up or slam it off the glass.
I'm going to say carry it.
Clear it out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Clear it.
Carry it
or clear it.
I'm going to say carry it for that one because actually, kind of change. My thought process is a little different for that. You know what? Real quick, what do you think, Matt? What's your opinion? I'll ask you. I'll ask you on this one.
Well, Drapeau against SFU, it looks like McEachern is kind of who they're turning to. Drapeau has had the Mariners number, and Pilon has played well too at times against the Ducks and VIU. McEachern is really the wild card here. Yes. He only played 2 games, one against the Miners, and then this 3-2 loss against SFU. Maybe they want to see him a couple more times. Maybe he might get both games against the Ducks. I think he'll probably get one. It's quite a pickle to sign a goalie right at the second semester at the end of the season. They don't have a lot of time to find this information out. So I'm going to carry it up. I'm going to go end to end, that you ride the hot hand. Whoever can unlock the genie in the bottle here, you keep it going. You go end to end, like a defenseman does. I don't know who does that, but.
Well, Bobby Orr definitely did. That's for sure. He was probably the best at it, I'd say. Cale Makar is pretty great. I think, real quick take that. I think a lot of people agree. Cale Makar is on his way to becoming the greatest defenseman of all time. Now, will he have to match the points and the production that the great number 4 put up in the 70s and 60s and a little bit of the 80s, I think? I don't know. I can't remember when he retired. I wasn't alive. But No, I think Cable Carr's on his way. But on the carry it or clear it, I think you're right. I completely agree with how you put it. I think you ride the hot hand. So if you try 2 different goalies for the 2 games against the Ducks, pick the better one out of the 2 and just go that way. I like when momentum is kept, right? So I'm not the biggest fan of, although Drapeau was great against VIU, say if Pilon had a great 3-game stint, I don't think you take him out just because, well, Drapeau's better again. You know what I mean? I think, yeah, like you said, you ride the hot hand, stick with what works. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Right now, there's definitely conditions to having that kind of mentality, which is you got to watch like how it's happening. So are they still, a little shaky with their saves? Great results. They have a great game, like they make like 45 saves and they end up winning the game. But the way they're saving it, it's a little like, whoa, desperation, like nothing's too static, nothing's too intentional. So when you have that, you kind of want to make a little bit of a decision there. But yeah, no, I definitely think you got to keep the momentum going. I'm not a fan of like, another example is like, oh, we know that the team we're matching up next is better, has really good centers for faceoffs. And then you take one of your centers and you put him on the wing, although he's been playing great at center, because you're afraid of the faceoff aspect. To me, that is it. That's not great coaching. That's kind of entitled thinking from an outside perspective. I think you just look at what's happening. What's the product on the ice? Is it good? Go with that. If it doesn't show up the next game, that's not really on you, right? You're just observing and you're seeing what works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it works and you take them out of the game, it's not good for the emotion. It's definitely not good for the ego. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I like the storyline to continue down the stretch.
For sure.
Put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
Get it going.
It's kind of like earn your stripes a little bit, right? Like if you're playing good, why should someone not reward you for that? Right? Oh, well, they match up better against this team. It's like, yeah, well, who cares? This guy's playing good. Now he's not going to play good. You know what I mean?
All right, Reese, carry it or clear it. My BCIHL fantasy team is going to jump up and grab the victory off of your team. Carry it or clear it.
Definitely a good chance. You got a lot of great names on there. Karamidshif is one of them.
Whoa!
Yeah, you got a lot of good names on there. I think if we're going into the playoffs, I got Garrett Dunlop, and nothing against the Mariners, but I'm hoping for that the Vikes will beat them out in the first round. So knowing that, that'll definitely change trajectories for the fantasy, right? Because that game is going to be out of there. And Tristan Cross, oh no, he's with SFU, so he'll still be good. So I think those guys will carry a lot of the load. Of course, Braun and Spears, but you got a lot of great names on there. You got a lot.
If I got points for heart and soul, I would have the championship locked up. Because I got Parkhouse, characters. I got Rouser, I got Matthew Enns, I got DeShepper.
DeGo, you got DeGo as well, which think about it. These are all people we've interviewed. Great characters, great.
I'll take on any BCIHL lineup. You name it, I'll be there.
Yeah, they'll go hard in the corners.
This is quite a show. We did all the Ducks stuff and we got the BCIHL stuff. What do you think, Reese?
Oh man, we were snapping it around like the Vikes power play is going to be in the playoffs, but we have less than a minute less in this meeting, so it's been a great one. There was no moment for silence unless I was stuttering and not speaking properly, which is common. Other than that, not much silence, just boom boom boom. So Matt, anything else you want to leave them with after this?
We'll see you down there, Oregon Ducks. Hey, go Vikes, go BCIHL. It's playoff time. We'll be back for the rundown of the playoffs. Don't you think, Reese?
Oh, it's going to be exciting.
See you at the rink on Friday or what?
Yes, sir.
Hey, check out the vlog. We're famous.
Check out the vlog. Last video is the vlog. All right, everybody. It's going to run out. You guys keep it real.
See you, dude.